COVID impact. RBI unveils loan restructuring scheme for individuals and small businesses. In a bid to provide succor and surge of COVID-19 pandemic, the Reserve Bank on Wednesday came out with a resolution framework 2.0 under which individual and small businesses having exposure up to rupees 25 crore can opt for a loan restructuring if they had not availed the earlier scheme. In case of those who had availed the loan restructuring under the earlier scheme, RBI permitted the banks and lending institutions to modify the plans and increase the period of moratorium. In respect of small businesses and MSMEs reconstructed earlier, lending institutions are also being permitted as a one-time measure to review the working capital sanction limits based on the reassessment of the working capital cycle, margins, etc., said RBI Governor Shantiniketan Das while announcing steps to deal with the impact of the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the one-time loan restructuring scheme under the loan and which would standard despite recast and bank would not have to make additional provisions in such cases. This is the second restructuring scheme announced by the central bank in less than 1 year time, with the first unveiled in August last year when the first COVID-19 wave had battered Indian economy with construction of 8% during financial year ended on 31st of March 2021. The resurgence of COVID-19 pandemic in India in recent weeks and the associated containment measures adopted at local and regional levels have created new uncertainties and impacted the nascent economy revival that was taking shape, thus noted. Noting that most vulnerable category of borrowers are individual borrowers, small businesses and micro and small medium enterprises. In the environment, he said, borrowers who were classified as standard as on 31st of March would be eligible to be considered under Resolution Framework 2.0. Restructuring under the proposed framework may be invoked up to September 30, 2021 and would have been implemented within 90 days after invocations. The RBI on August 6, 2020 permitted one-time restructuring of both corporate and the retail loans without getting classified as a non-performing asset under the Resolution Framework for COVID-19 related stress scheme. Restructuring benefits were for those whose accounts were standard on 1st of March 2020. Besides, KV Kamath Committee identified 26 sectors included automobiles, power, tourism, cement, chemicals, gem and jewelries, logistic, mining, manufacturing, real estate, among others. While the resolution under this framework was invoked till December 31st, 2020, the lending institutions were encouraged to strive for early invocation in eligible cases, particularly for personal loans. In order to further incentivize inclusions of unbanked MSMEs into the banking system, he said this exemption is currently available for exposure up to rupees 25 crore and for credit distributed up to fortnight ending October 1st, 2021 is being extended till December 31st, 2021. With the objective to mitigate the pandemic and related stress on banks and as a measure to enable capital conversion, the governor said banks are being allowed to utilize 100% of the floating provision counter-cycling provisioning buffer held by them as on December 31st, 2020 for making specific provisions for non-performing assets with prior approval for their bonds. Such utilization is permitted with an immediate effect and up to 31st March 2022, he added. Observing that India is set to emerge as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, he said, today we have taken some steps and we will continue to be proactive throughout the year, taking small and big steps to deal with the evolving situation. We must remain resolute, focused on the post-pandemic future of strong and sustainable growth with macroeconomics and financial stability. Thus assured all stakeholders that RBI stands in the battle readiness to ensure that financial conditions remain congenial and markets continue to work efficiently. We will work in close coordination with the government to ameliorate the extreme travels that our citizens are undergoing in the hour of distress. We are committed to go unconventional and devise new responses as and when the situation demands, he said.